This was our first trip since COVID, so we were happy to get back to traveling, even if it meant jumping through some hoops to make sure we were healthy. Raja Ampat is like no other place in the world. There are no hotels. You have to stay on a liveaboard boat, and private charters can be pricey, starting at around $2,000 per night. But for that price, you get everything. 3 bedrooms, meals, and adventures included. Raja Ampat is a collection of small islands in Indonesia, off the coast of Papua. It feels like one of the most remote places on Earth. A major reason the area is so untouched is because there aren't many affordable options to get there. We visited a remote island with a population of maybe 17 families. I did flips for the kids, and soon enough the entire village came out to watch. When I was young, a traveling circus came to my town, and it started me down the path that led me to Cirque du Soleil. I always try to pass that inspiration forward, because I know how much it meant to me. It was crazy, a bunch of the kids had backflips too. I was amazed at how talented they were. Spending time with them was one of the highlights of my trip. Some of the most colorful fish we found were right underneath the pier. Raja Ampat was the only place I've ever been that looked like a scene from planet Earth. The coral was alive. There were thousands of fish, and sharks. I thought the sharks would scare me, but they kind of reminded me of puppies. Curious little creatures. We spent our days adventuring to islands that we had completely to ourselves, with nothing to do but play, relax, and snorkel. After an all-night boat journey, we arrived at one of my favorite islands in the world. It was the perfect place to jump off the mast and tick that off my bucket list. We spent 3 days exploring here. This set of islands has never been inhabited, partly because they're so distant, and partly because they have no source of fresh water. We take our cameras everywhere during a trip like this, but unfortunately that meant we broke both our drone and our camera on this trip. It was worth it to get shots like this. Our boat was our sanctuary. We took naps on deck and tried acro when the waves got big. My original edit had over a minute of diving footage, because Raja Ampat completely blew my mind and showed me creatures and shapes I never knew existed. But it's one of those things you have to see in person. Shaky underwater GoPro footage did it no justice. Even this far from everything, there was still plastic trash. We need to preserve our beautiful planet. Inform yourself. There are amazing films on Netflix that will do a far better job of explaining ways that you can help. But choosing renewable and sustainable products when you can is a great place to start. A trip to Raja Ampat is all about the people you spend your time with, because you're going to be stuck with them for a week. We were so lucky that we absolutely loved the people we did our journey with. I almost wish everyone in the world could experience beauty like this at least once in their life. But if it were more accessible, it just wouldn't have that magic that makes it Raja Ampat.